Hello, my motor enthusiasts. You're tuned in to F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hello, Enzo Watts. I hear it's all about the rookies this time, isn't it?
Indeed, Oscar Piastri has certainly made quite a splash in his first season with McLaren, despite some challenging odds.
Oh, really? How did he manage that?
Well, he began the season in an uncompetitive McLaren car and with limited racing experience. But with some mid-season improvements and a lot of personal growth, he was able to turn things around.
That's impressive. Any highlights?
Certainly. His performances at Silverstone, Japan, and Qatar stand out, with a pole-to-flag victory in Qatar being a particular highlight.
Blimey, he's showing some real promise then.
Absolutely, and there's much more to delve into. His relationship with Lando Norris and the support from McLaren team principal Andrea Stella and former Red Bull driver Mark Webber have played crucial roles.
Sounds like we've got quite a tale of perseverance and growth to unravel.
Definitely, and there's more. McLaren's future plans, the Norris-Piastri partnership, we've got a lot to discuss.
Can't wait, Enzo. Let's get into the thick of it.
Hello, motor enthusiasts. As always, this is your host, Enzo Watts.
And this is William, at your service.
We're thrilled to have you here with us on F1 Motor Fever podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Now, let's hit full throttle. A rookie season in Formula One can be brutal, can it?
Absolutely. With scarcely any testing and sprint events limiting valuable track time, it's a grueling introduction to the sport.
And yet, Oscar Piastri managed to steer through these challenges remarkably well, especially considering he had not raced since his last F2 event at the end of 2021.
Right, and joining a high-profile team like McLaren, alongside Lando Norris, was no small feat either.
Indeed. Despite starting the season with an uncompetitive MCL 60, he made the most of the car's mid-season improvements, not to mention his own personal growth.
His finishes at Silverstone, Japan, and Qatar are testament to that.
Absolutely. And behind every successful driver, there's a strong team. In Piastri's case, two individuals stand out. Andrea Stella, who was promoted to team principal at McLaren around the same time Piastri joined, and Mark Webber, who along with his wife Anne Neal, guided Piastri through his journey.
Stella's deep understanding of drivers and Webber's own racing experience must have been invaluable for Piastri.
No doubt. Webber himself has spoken of his pride in Piastri's performance this season. There's a lot of work still to do, but for a rookie season, it's been an impressive start.
Indeed. Here's to watching Piastri's continued growth in the sport.
The psychological aspect of racing is often overlooked, isn't it?
Absolutely. It can be quite a shock for a young driver to experience the competitiveness and pace of Formula One.
And dealing with the pressure of a home race so early in the season is no small task either.
Indeed. And then there's the challenge of seeing your teammate getting the latest parts while you have to wait. It requires quite a bit of maturity and a broader perspective to handle that well.
Oscar Piastri seems to have managed very well. The sprint races, for instance, are extremely challenging, and yet he navigated through them with finesse.
Absolutely. The sport has become so technical that one wrong move can throw off your weekend.
The Qatar sprint win was certainly a highlight, especially with Max Verstappen hot on Piastri's heels. To keep your foot right when the pressure is on is a mark of a great driver.
Indeed, and as Webber noted, it was like Piastri was a seasoned racer, not a rookie.
Let's not forget that Piastri managed to keep errors to a minimum throughout the season, which is equally impressive.
True. Even when faced with the big boys of the sport, he held his own.
You know, I always enjoy throwing in a bit of trivia for our listeners. Did you know that Oscar Piastri is only the third Australian driver to get an F1 podium, after Jack Brabham and Mark Webber?
Indeed, it's a remarkable achievement. And speaking of records, despite his impressive rookie season, Piastri has a long way to go to catch up to the record held by Lewis Hamilton for the most wins by a rookie driver. Hamilton won 4 races in his debut season, a feat yet to be beaten.
And to add to that, The youngest driver to ever start a Formula One race was Max Verstappen, who was only 17 years old when he made his debut. It's fascinating to see how these young talents rise through the ranks, isn't it?
Absolutely. And they continue to push the boundaries of what's possible in the sport.
It seems Oscar Piastri had a clear mindset going into his rookie season, didn't he?
Yes, he was determined not to be too soft or be seen as a pushover, which is commendable in such a competitive sport.
And it's clear that he and Lando Norris managed to drive each other on. It's always a sign of a good team when both drivers are mutually beneficial.
Indeed. Despite being a rookie, Piastri even managed to show Norris some new tricks, which undoubtedly helped the McLaren team.
Piastri himself admitted that he spent the first part of the year learning and absorbing as much as he could. It was only by qualifying that he truly started to hit his stride.
That's right. And it's worth noting how technical the cars are these days. They're tailored to the driver's own requirements, and that process of getting to know the car, the team, and the engineers takes time. But based on what we've seen so far, Piastri is on the right track.
And let's not forget the support he's had from McLaren. From what Webber says, Piastri was lucky to have Andrea on his side in his first year.
Absolutely. Having a strong support system is crucial in such a high-pressure environment. It's good to see that the McLaren team has been supportive of Piastri's journey so far.
It's commendable how the team dynamic between Norris and Piastri has helped push the McLaren team forward. Both drivers seem to have complemented each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, that's just a load of rubbish. You're ignoring how much Norris has had a significant influence and experience in the team. He's been there for years.
But we can't ignore Piastri's contribution. His adaptability and skill set have surely added value to the team.
Norris has proved his worth over the years, while Piastri is still finding his footing. He's got a lot to learn from Norris.
That's an unfair comparison. Norris has had several years to settle in. Piastri is only in his first year.
You're missing the point, aren't you? You're acting as if Piastri is on par with Norris, and that's just not true.
I think I need to fetch a glass of water to cool down. Excuse me.
Go ahead, cool your head. Listeners, how are you all doing? It seems like our dear presenter here is a bit biased, doesn't he? Don't worry, we'll get back to some proper analysis soon.
All right, I'm back. Let's move on. McLaren is expected to continue its upward trajectory this year, wouldn't you say? Stella brings up some interesting points about the driver's philosophy. It seems they're both consistently striving for improvement, which is crucial in a sport like Formula One.
Absolutely. Continuous improvement is key. Even champions like Verstappen are not the same as they were when they started. The sport is about evolution.
Norris and Piastri both seem to have this mindset. They are both constantly asking themselves, what do I need to do better?
It's a healthy approach to have in an environment as competitive as Formula One. It's all about pushing yourself to improve and never being complacent.
Exactly. It's interesting to see how grounded both drivers are in their approach to racing. Stella mentions how Piastri processed his victory, asking himself, how can I consolidate this?
It's a testament to their character and professionalism. They're not just satisfied with a single victory, they're always looking at the bigger picture. They want to keep improving and keep winning. It's the mindset of a champion.
William, could you give us a bit of an insight into what the internet has been saying?
Certainly, let's dive in. Marco the Phoenix has posted a photo with the caption, quote, George Russell and Sebastian Vettel in Austria today, unquote.
Ah, the unlikely duo. What's the reaction been like?
Well, Sneaker Goes Vroom comments, quote, 4 world titles between them, legendary, unquote, which Dankinator6 responds to with, quote, 54 Grand Prix wins, unquote.
Wow, that certainly puts things into perspective.
But Stella'S is quick to add, quote, GR has more sprint wins though. I know who my GOAT is, unquote.
The debate rages on then.
It certainly does. Matt Scott 53 even adds, quote, George Russell always looks like a low-level Bond villain, unquote, sparking a whole new line of discussion.
Now that's a conversation I didn't see coming.
Indeed. Some users have quite the imagination. Orange Arrow writes a whole plot around it. Quote, George is the beautiful ski club champion, and Vettel is the plucky underdog trying to win the girl. And George deflates his bike tires on the big day. But after a montage, he eventually wins the big competition, while George pounds his arms on the ground screaming, "No, no, 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 no!" And then everybody crowds around Vettel at the bottom of the hill, while synthesized music blares, and the frame freezes while he lifts the trophy. Unquote.
I'd watch that. Any other gems?
Well, there's this from Charlie RC, quote, "George, do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to bloody turn in on me," unquote.
Brilliant. But let's turn our attention back to the track, shall we? That's all we have time for today on F1 Motor Fever podcast. We've had a fantastic time discussing the latest and greatest in the world of Formula One. We appreciate you taking the time to listen in. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because trust me, you won't want to miss out. Share our podcast with your fellow Formula One enthusiasts on social media or even at the dinner table.
And remember, folks, we're here every day, bringing you the inside scoop on all things Formula One. So make sure you keep us in mind when you're looking for your next podcast fix.
And for those of you on the edge of your seats waiting for the next episode, you won't be waiting long. We can't wait to share more with you soon.
Absolutely. So, until next time, remember to keep your ear to the ground and your eyes on the road, or rather, the racetrack.
Thanks again for your company today. Remember, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.